give you every part of me, 'cause your light is all I need.
Vocalo Radio, Chicago's only urban alternative, 91.1 FM. That song right now, Illuminating Light, by Holly, who we have here in studio. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
What up?
Thanks for coming by. I mean, it's so crazy because I always say the holiday season is like when the music industry like relaxes. That's when we relax a little bit over here. But I feel like this year's different. Everyone's releasing music. All the songs are hot. All the songs are good. I'm like, you guys are working this overtime this holiday season. You guys have some new music coming out as well, right?
We do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited?
Very, very excited.
How long have you guys been working on this project?
What's the number we want to give?
Can we admit to you? No, it's very exciting because this has been an album that has basically been in our pocket now in some form for about 3.5 years. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
So over the course of 3.5 years, is there a bunch of music that didn't make the cut along the way? Like, do you guys have a bunch of
there's
songs on the floor?
Honestly, it's sort of reverse. It was more of like parsing out like little EPs here and there, you know, bits and pieces, trying to figure out, okay, so what should a full album look like? And then it sort of got to this point where we're like, all right, we should just do a full project. And that's kind of how we've landed here after 3.5 years.
And if you're just tuning in, Holly, we actually have vocalist Tanner and Keys, right? Keys Pete, in studio with us. And then you guys, after your album drops, then you have a really exciting show at Thalia Hall on the 19th.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so is that like the premiere? Are you guys doing a lot of these songs for the first time there?
A little bit. It is kind of funny because we have, not to give it away, but we have 14 songs coming out. And of those 14, we have released quite a few already in the form of singles. We've played so many shows featuring so many of those songs, but then even in rehearsing in the last couple of weeks, we've realized that there are a decent amount of these songs that are coming out that we have like either never played or we are just getting back into the wheelhouse of like relearning them ourselves. So it's going to be, it's exciting for us too, because it's like, there will be a lot of people out there that are going to hear songs for the first time. And then even for us, it's going to be playing it for the first or one of the first times, which is awesome.
Now, it is the end of the year. Do you guys plan to do like a tour next year or more shows? Usually
Definitely.
after an album drops, that's when we get like, some city stops. What are some of your guys' favorite cities to play in? Besides Chicago, of course.
Besides, the sleeper is Washington, D.C., believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. For some reason, a lot of live music fans, which is great. Amazing food, amazing hospitality. I think we just have like really good memories as a band there. I would say that's probably our sleeper city.
Yeah, sometimes we call ourselves a DC band.
DC band,
Which
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
not to cheat on our beloved hometown
Chicago.
city.
Yeah.
DC is a good answer.
It is.
That has been super fun. I think we've also discovered that we've always loved playing the state of Ohio. Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus,
Toledo.
We have had great shows in Ohio.
Yeah.
It's not that far, like realistically.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
bands travel much further. I'm sure you guys have traveled much further together. Quick question. Of course, we're going to talk about the music, but I just have a personal question because I was looking at your guys' Instagram and all your members swaggy. Everyone has like a good sense of style, I feel.
Wow.
Do you all hear this? Because we
really-
usually get told the opposite. We're going to
Really?
keep this footage forever.
I was
Jeez.
going to say, I was looking at these pictures and I'm like, okay, like I don't see a bad dresser here. I'm like, is that a conversation you guys had to
I
have?
guess
Or
how far back did you look?
Yeah.
That's the question.
This is
not too
blowing my
far,
mind right
honestly,
now.
not too far. I was just looking at the.
Okay.
I will say-
years of concerted effort.
Yeah, we feel so validated.
For sure.
We've actually given up on that focus point because I think as a band for a while you're like, all right, we have to like really try and do something in terms of style and how we present ourselves, and then like the amount of band frustrating conversations you have where it's just like, you know what, forget it, wear whatever you want.
Yep.
So it's great to hear that because I think we have fallen into like, screw it, just show up, wear whatever you want kind of thing.
Yeah,
So that means
it went
naturally
from
good stuff.
everybody dress in black, which seemed to be a struggle, to now the general rule of thumb is just try to look cool, just
Okay.
try to look presentable. So no, thanks.
Just
No,
be yourself.
and I always wondered that with bands because, I mean, people who are artistic, who are talented, could have extremely different styles, and as a band, you're like, we have to look somewhat cohesive. We don't have to look like twins, but like we have to
Right,
like
yeah.
kind of like mesh a little bit.
Yeah.
And as guys, that could be like a more difficult conversation to
true.
have,
That's
right?
very true.
We don't
Very,
beat the
very true.
stereotype.
Yep.
So you guys of course are a Chicago formed group,
Mhm.
been together 7 years, but you guys have seen like, multiple iterations, people coming and going. What have you guys found is like the magic between like, okay, this is the group we're working with,
Yeah, that's in 2025. That's I think a great question because we have found. I come from a background of playing with basically the same people I played with since I was 11 years old, almost. So it's pretty crazy. But then this year specifically has really, for the real first time in my life, switched that up. And I think we had some growing pains at the top of the year. And this all goes on in the background. I think like even if you look at our socials or things we've done this year, it's like, wow, like they just seem like they, first of all, having so much fun or doing all these things. But yeah, it's just one of those lessons where in the background, actually, a lot of stuff is happening. And but this year has been so great in the sense of we have just sort of like stuck with our core unit and we just pushed through and we just keep making music, probably less for like, I mean, we have a lot of goals, don't get me wrong, but less to do, like reach all these crazy new heights and more so just to do it for us.
Yeah,
And I think that's been.
the magic is not quitting, and then also just trying it. Trying something. I think it started with us trying out some TikToks of just the core members being in the basement, just doing little covers and little snippets of our songs, and then kind of parlayed that into the lakeside shows, and then just watching it sort of grow from there. And then the big thing is I don't think we've compromised anything about ourselves. You know what I mean? It's just, I think we leaned into the authenticity, and it's been awesome to kind of be on the ride and watch it grow.
Do you guys find when it comes to having a common goal as a band, is that a conversation you have, or is it just along the way? You're like, okay, we're gonna do shows.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna like,
Well,
go to these cities.
famously, every January we do this like
Do you guys do a vision board?
a little bit. I can't. Sometimes like end of December.
That's so
sometimes
cute.
It's January. It's pretty cute. No, it's like
it's
like
cute
we throw
until-
things up
yeah.
on the wall. And we're just like, all right, here we revisit last year's goal chart basically,
And
we
have a
try
good
and-
laugh.
we have a good laugh. We try and make it humorous for sure.
Mhm.
But like I think that is something that we've talked about recently. Where it's like that is fun and it is good to do. But this year was again a great lesson in like oftentimes you let you just stay the course and you let things come to you, and then boom, you have like your best year instead of worrying too much about the metrics and the outside noise and stuff. So
It also,
try and do that.
yeah, and also things can surprise you. You know what I mean? Like just watching things, you think it's gonna go one way organically, and then all of a sudden it takes another turn that you didn't really expect, and that's the beauty of it.
What could you be talking about?
I don't know.
Or you're thankful some things didn't work out.
Right.
You're like, I'm
It's
so
weird
happy.
beauty in disguise.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so
Yeah.
happy that thing didn't work out.
Right.
Blessing in disguise.
Yes. This album, Weight of This Heart, that's coming out on Friday, 14 tracks, took 3 years of like accumulation and things like that. Do you guys have a personal favorite off the album?
I mean, waxes and wanes all over the place. I really like a song called "Feel So Lonely" that came out back in August as a single. Just I don't know, kind of a jammy R&B track that it was a nice idea that Tanner came in with, and it was sometimes it can be a bit of a grind trying to figure out how to write collectively, and everybody's doing their thing. But it was one of those tracks that like came together like pretty quick, honestly, and it's very jammy. It's a little bit different than what we would typically do, but still sort of has the thread. I think that's probably my favorite, as of late.
Yeah, that's obviously you feel like you're slighting some of the other songs when you
They're
zero
your
in on
babies.
Yeah,
one.
they are
They're your
babies,
babies.
yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's like it's almost the only thing that I have to differentiate is like I love this live, and I love playing it live and the feel of it, and like sometimes it's like the reception that you get from it, and you could see it connecting with people, and that's a really cool feeling. And then sometimes it's just like when you're just on your own and you're in your headphones, you get to listen to tunes outside of any of that. That's a different feeling sometimes. Weirdly enough, I really enjoy playing an end of our tune live. It's called Running From You. And it's just like, we're pretty, like what we do in the band oftentimes, it's our style of writing is we love to end songs with like a big outro. And maybe too much, to be honest. But like that is a tune that is really fun to grow into what it becomes, and it's really fun to play. We've always joked about like that's our stage dive song at the end. So if you're there on December 19th, that's the goal. But
Get ready.
Get ready. Get ready to hoist Tanner.
And then outside of that, like we're gonna tie off our album with a song that's like a beautiful, just like headphone song, and that one is "Find Me in Forever," and that's just like that's like a great kind of it encompasses like what we've become as writers in the last year. I think is what that one does for me.
Could you share one of your favorite memories of making this album, like a fun studio moment or like something you're like never gonna forget, like behind the scenes of this album coming together?
Oh man! Shout out to our boy Steven Shirk down at Shirk Studios, who he sort of the back half of the album. He really helped us, kind of accelerate things, get things going, and being in the studio with him, actually being able to, listen to the mixes in real time, was like the final sort of like payoff, like oh. And I'll never forget that, being behind a board in like a real studio and you're all there together and listening to it. And yeah, that was when it was done was my favorite moment for sure. I know that sounds really bad, but like that was the payoff for me. Yeah.
No, on good speakers,
yeah,
right?
on
like,
good speakers, yeah. And
you're like, is this how it's supposed to sound?
Yeah, and we're out of the band house, the basement, and we're like in a real studio. Yeah, that's what it felt like, the high point for me. Yeah.
I do love looking back on our time with Shirk, I think, because that was like, we almost wrote our album in two parts, where it's like we had one method of writing from it, like it seemed like years. And then we kind of like took a step back from it for 6 months, kind of like we were a little burnt out, so we just like stepped back for a little bit, and then we came back, and that was when we got into Shirk Studios, and it was like a truly like it was just more re-inspiring, It was a good time to finish up our album, and it felt good. So I agree with that. I'm more of a process guy rather than the final outcome. I think that there were moments, specifically we went on this pretty goofy tour back in this was like at the end of 2022, so it was actually like years ago now. But we were still playing like a couple of these songs that we had written that are going to be on this album back then. And that was like a really cool feeling to look back on and get outside of our home city and like go places as far as New York and Philly and DC and Atlanta and Nashville and all these places, and just like have some of these tunes come alive to cities outside of our own and like see what people were coming out for. And it was awesome. And I think it just like helped keep us going on the path of making that album, because we were only like 4 songs deep on the album at that point, maybe 4 or 5. So clearly had about 10 to go. And that was a really fun time for me.
I think as a, still a younger, newer band, I think that's like the greatest gift that we had, was going to new cities and audiences here too, and being able to like try out songs every time that we got to play. And I think that is something that I don't think we've talked about enough in the process of how awesome it was to just be able to be like, okay, here's
the real-time response.
Yeah, real-time response, engage it. And we were talking about that when we were writing, but I think there's definitely pros and cons of that, right? But it was really nice to be like, okay, we were working on this like 2 weeks ago, and we're going to play it, and let's see how it goes. And when it worked, it was like, okay, yeah, we're keeping
Best feeling ever, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite tracks off the song is the title, Weight of the Heart. How did this song come together for you guys?
Well, I think we were in like our R&B mode. And there's 2 songs that were like pretty heavy on that, and it's like Secrets is one of them, and then Weight of This Heart was one of them. And it's all about like pounding the hook. And then a lot of our lyrics doesn't take genius to figure out that we write a lot of breakup songs, and that we find a lot of inspiration from like these tougher times in life, like through relationships outside of that too. We're not like totally one-dimensional.
That's
in
what
that sort.
people want to hear, though. You
But
know?
yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah,
like where
totally.
we clearly find a lot of inspiration from. And so this was a tune that we were, I remember like we were getting pretty into things like if you mix These Sacred Souls and Duran Jones and Indications with a little bit of like D'Angelo, to be honest.
Mhm.
And it just like took those inspirations and then we slapped our own kind of way that we create songs, our own little whatever we have, our little zest, our Holly zest.
Groove.
And
yeah.
that is where that one came out of. And ultimately, it created the lyrics that we found to be very, very resonating for the entire album. And then boom, we had our album name.
Yes, the groove is definitely there on this album, I will say. I did my makeup to the album this morning, and I was like, this is like the perfect like movie moment, you know? Like I was like,
Sweet.
the vibes were set. It was groovy. And so we'll go ahead and get into this song. If you're just tuning in, we have Holly members in here with us, Tanner and Pete, and December 19th show at Thalia Hall.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And
Hollyy-Days, round 5.
yes, you guys are ready. You guys are not slowing down this December, okay?
No.
So let's go ahead and get into this song, and let's have you guys introduce it as we go into it.
Sweet. Yeah.
Put your radio voice on.
Oh.
All right, the
This
mics
is-
are
the
on
mics
for
are
you
on.
guys. Yeah.
This is Holly, and this is our title track to our album, The Weight of This Heart.
Just give me a break.